Yep. Okay. 5 seconds. Love you, bye. Love you, stuff.
Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the North Brunswick Township Board of Education regular public meeting. Today is Wednesday, April 24th. Could we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Ali.
Here.
Mr. Brockman.
Here.
Mr. Carter.
Here.
Ms. James.
Here.
Ms. Keefe.
Here.
Mr. Lagori.
Here.
Dr. Patel.
Here.
Ms. Toth.
Here.
And Mr. Wen.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, the public notice of this meeting, which included the time, date, and location, was distributed by 3 p.m. on Monday, January 29th, 2024, and Tuesday, March 19th, 2024, in the following manner. Posted on the bulletin board reserved for announcements in the board office, 25 Linwood Place, North Brunswick, New Jersey, 08902. Mailed to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, NJ.com, and the clerk of the Township of North Brunswick, and delivered to the 9 duly elected board members. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. We have a few presentations, so I will turn it over to Superintendent Chiroka.
Thank you, Madam President. Welcome, everybody. We're thrilled to see so many people here to see our high school presentations this evening. We're going to start with our MBTHS Model United Nations Club with Ann Shadid and Prisha Kubchandani. If they could come on up, I'm going to set up the screen here. I have their slideshow, and hopefully we'll be able to get this to go correctly for you. And there is a microphone there, girls. In the past, we have had conference meetings many months of the year, and we would usually go to the high school as well as Linwood and all the schools in one year. And as we added the middle school and the ECC, we found that it was really too difficult to do a conference meeting every month. So we kind of collapsed the conference schedule into the spring months, and this year we're just doing conference meetings at the elementary schools, so the board members can get a chance to visit the elementary schools. And then next year, we'll be doing MBT ECC, the middle school, the high school, and Linwood. So that way, every other year, the schools get to present. But at the same time, on non-conference meeting months, we really wanted to showcase some of the programs and things going on at the other schools that weren't getting to do the conference meeting. So that's what this is this evening. I had the honor of attending the Model UN conference a few weeks ago, and the students did a great job. And we talked about the Spanish program as well, and the German program, getting to do some trips. And so I felt it was very worthwhile for them to come and share that with you as a board, so you could see and hear directly from the students on the impact. So it's important, if you don't mind, just make sure you're speaking into the microphone, because it won't go to the TV audiences. You can just lift that right out if you want.
Good evening, Board of Education. My name is Prisha.
Just make sure that's on. There's a button on there. And then just pull it right out. There you go. Perfect.
Good evening, Board of Education. My name is Prisha Guptamani. I am the treasurer for the North Brunswick Township Model United Nations Club. And in January, this club had the opportunity to travel to Berlin and Prague to attend the 16th annual United Nations Conference. We toured famous monuments in Berlin before traveling to Prague to compete in a conference with 500 other delegates from all over the world. In Berlin, we explored historic landmarks such as the Brandenburg Gate, the Berlin Wall Memorial, the Reichstag, and the Stasi Museum, where we spoke with a survivor of the East German secret police. While visiting these places, we learned about Berlin's complex history and how the people had overcome challenge after challenge. We also gained valuable insight into Germany's enriching culture and history. While in Prague, we debated issues with delegates from all over the world. Debate topics included the war in Ukraine, the ethical deployment of autonomous weapons, and the Korean War. Our delegates had a large influence within their committees, and we received an honorary gavel as a result, which is the first in Prague in history. We also toured Prague and saw its breathtaking architecture. We visited ornate castles and cathedrals, the Charles Bridge, and the site of the conference, the Jan Neruda High School. This trip was a truly enriching experience for our delegates, and it deepened our understanding of global issues. From heated committee debates to exploring historical sites, this opportunity equipped us with valuable insight and memories to cherish. I'd like to say thank you to the Board of Ed for approving this trip and giving us such a memorable opportunity.
Good evening. My name is Anne Shadid, and I'm the president of the North Brunswick Township High School Model United Nations Club. Along with accompanying my fellow club members to Prague this past winter, I had the pleasure of organizing our 5th annual North Brunswick Township High School Model United Nations Conference. Our conference took place on March 23rd, and at our conference we had more than 150 delegates attending. New Jersey's best Model UN delegates came to compete, and we actually had our largest turnout yet. Delegates debated in our 3 committees, which covered topics that included the Chinese Belt and Road Initiative, child trafficking in Eastern Europe, and a simulation of the Cuban Missile Crisis from the perspectives of top USA and USSR officials. Our committee staff worked tirelessly for 10 months to write background guides, run simulations, and plan logistics for the day of the event. Ultimately, the conference was a great success. On behalf of our club, I would like to sincerely thank our superintendent, Mrs. Chironka, our North Brunswick Township High School administration, and the Board of Education for always supporting our club endeavors. We are so lucky and so grateful for all the opportunities that you have given us, and I'm so excited to see what the future holds for our club. Now, we have a short video that highlights both our trip and our conference. Thank you.
We don't need to say the bad reason, okay.
Let's try this one more time. It doesn't seem to be working, but I would just like to quickly say, well, for one, thanks for having us here this evening. And is it working? No. For squeezing in to your busy schedule here this evening. My name is Ben Schmall, and along with Mrs. Andreu, I'm the co-advisor of the Model United Nations Club at North Brunswick Township High School. We are incredibly grateful for your support and allowing us to take this trip to Prague, and for your continued support of our conference as well. I just want you to know how incredibly proud we are of these kids and how well they supported our school and our community and distinguished themselves. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Give them a round of applause.
That's working out.
So I want to move this along. I'd like to hand the microphone to my German exchange co-advisor. That would be Mrs. Janice Mahalik of NBTMS.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for your ongoing support of all we do with our exchange trip. Our exchange with the school, our sister school in Pforzheim, Germany, is in its 24th year. We started it in 2000. And about every other year, when there's not a pandemic, we take students to Germany. And this summer, 12 NBTHS students spent 3 weeks living in Germany with host families in a full cultural immersion program. They attend classes in our German sister school, attend day trips and longer trips out into various areas and cities in Germany. Last October, we then welcomed 12 German students into our homes and our school here in North Brunswick to reciprocate the hospitality that we got when we were in Pforzheim. Once again, we had a fantastic group of kids, and speaking for Mr. Schmoll as well as the German chaperones, the coordinators in our sister school, we were truly moved by this group, how well they came together, and what a fantastic time they all had as a group together. We would like to thank you for your continued support of our program. There is just no better way to inspire students to learn a world language than by offering them an opportunity such as this to participate in this type of exchange program. There is so much enthusiasm among the students and the staff as well. And in the community surrounding the program, we are eager to keep the tradition going, and we do thank you very much. We have 2 students to share some of their experience with you. We have the Senki, Vijiguna Rodana, and Abby Eisner, who are going to share a bit of their experience in our program.
Good evening, esteemed board members and audience members. My name is Helsinki Vijayanavarthanan.
And my name is Abby Eisner.
We are both juniors at MBTHS, and we had the privilege of going on the MBTHS Pforzheim German Exchange Program this past school year.
We are so thankful for this tremendous opportunity to create memories, make friends, and engage with the international community. We began our journey in Munich, Germany, where we bonded as a group together. We had the privilege of seeing Schloss Neuschwanstein, which inspired the Disney castle. We hiked down Zugspitze and attended the Tollwood Festival.
Before we headed off to Pforzheim, we were able to visit Dachau concentration camp, where we experienced firsthand the gravity of World War II and the sentiment our history classes tried to convey to us. Afterwards, we arrived in Pforzheim and met our exchange partners for the first time. During our time in Pforzheim, we visited Stuttgart, Heidelberg, and Karlsruhe.
Some exchange families even took us to Strasbourg in France. We also had the opportunity to attend their school, which is called Theodor-Heuss Gymnasium. It's grades 5 through 13. We got to attend our partners' classes, meet their friends, and we got interviewed by the younger students about ourselves and life in America. With our host families, we also got to visit the Black Forest and Tripsdrill, which is an amusement park.
We did lots of hiking on mountains where castles were built and walking on the streets of Germany with our partners, taking in the German culture all around us. We got to taste their amazing bread, so much bread, and their amazing gelato. They really ate with that. We ended our time with our partners with a farewell party, then traveled to Switzerland before we came home. We got to visit the Lindt chocolate factory, which was really good, and ate lots of chocolate.
We also did 2 super fun escape rooms that totally scared the life out of us, but it was so much fun. We want to thank our advisors, Mr. Ben Schmull and Ms. Janice Mahalik, for taking such good care of us and providing us with this great experience. We had so much fun with them, even though we drove them insane sometimes. But the fun did not end yet. Our partners came in late October, and the first thing they experienced once they landed was a high school football game. It's a good thing we won, which made our school look really good. The following Monday was their first day of school at our high school. They got to experience what it was like at our school, and it was, quote, just like the movies. We went on a few trips with them, which included the Met, Philadelphia, and an off-Broadway show titled The Play That Goes Wrong. It was hilarious. And they went on some trips without us, which included Washington, D.C. and the Statue of Liberty. Some of us took our exchange students to New York City, the American Dream Mall, Six Flags, and lots of restaurants that the Germans don't have. They definitely ate too much food that they should have. The Germans were also here for Halloween, so we all got dressed up and went trick-or-treating together. They also got an opportunity to experience a Sweet 16, which was mine, because they were here when my birthday happened. We had a farewell party, and the next day, the German partners, they left. As you can see, this was an experience of a lifetime. We learned so much from this trip. We are grateful for this opportunity and hope that this trip continues for the students taking German here at North Brunswick High School in the future. We have made lifelong bonds with our German exchange partners, so much that 2 of us are returning to see their exchange student this summer, and 2 of the German students are coming back to New Jersey this summer for a visit. One of them is my German exchange partner, Lena. Many of us hope to run it back next year and visit our partners in Germany. Hopefully the plan actually happens. So anyways, thank you for taking the time to hear about our great experience, and we hope the exchange continues in the future. Thank you. Thank you.
I have you have the video for this, right, girls? So I'll start putting that on before you leave. Get this to play. Not sure what that is. I don't know what all that is. Thank you. See a lot of food. Okay, that was great. Thank you again. Let's give another round of applause to those ladies. And our next presenters are Mia Montero and Isabella Juarez for the MBTHS Spanish program. right, should be there.
There we go. Hello, Board of Education members. Thank you again. I would like to reiterate the thanks that were given by my colleague Ben. Thank you for allowing us to be here this evening, and thank you for allowing us the opportunities to take our students on these kinds of trips. I would like to thank my students as well for being here this evening to share their experience and for all of the hard work that they put in, both into the Model United Nations Conference as well as into the Spanish exchange, because they actually did presentations in the classes that we got. I would like to say a thank you as well to my partner in crime, Mr. Elvis Reyes Colon, who was my co-chaperone on this trip. He helped keep us all aligned as well, having all of our fun. A little bit of background, we partnered with a high school called Victoria Kent in a city right outside of Madrid in Torrejón de Ardoz. And I actually modeled this exchange after the German exchange, so I have to say thank you to Ben for all of the guidance and advice that he gave me in preparing this trip as well. So we spent 12 days in Spain, and they will be coming to spend 12 days here this October as well. I am very excited because they received us with lots of open arms, and I hope that we can give them just as much of a warm welcome as they gave to us. Lastly, this has been a dream of mine ever since I was 17 as well, because my own teacher took me abroad, and when I had that experience, I knew that when I was a teacher, I wanted to provide a similar experience to them as well. So I can't thank you guys enough for making that dream a reality. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. So now, I think the best way to hear about an experience is for students to share about what they did. So I would like to turn it over to Mia Montero and Isabella Juarez.
Thank you so much for having us here today. We are so grateful for the opportunity to go on this exchange. It definitely really helped our Spanish skills, being immersed in that culture. It's so different being in a classroom learning Spanish versus practicing those words and phrases every day and trying to think of them on the spot. So we definitely are so grateful for this experience. So let's get started.
You want me to just hit the slideshow?
The first city that we went to was a city called Toledo, and it's a very historical city. We walked a lot, and like a lot more than we thought we would. And we walked up a lot of stairs, but when we saw like a lot of one of the oldest like castles in Spain, and a lot of churches, and the inside it was very interesting to see all the architecture in the buildings. And also the differences between like the periods, so like you could see the architecture between the Muslim periods and the Christian periods as well. And we also went to a museum called and it was by it's like a Greek artist, yeah. And he painted a lot of really nice paintings that were unlike other ones that we would see before, and it was very fun. Okay, all right. Next one. We spent a lot of time in Madrid, a lot of walking as well, again. And this is like the city center, so it's kind of like New York, to be honest. Like it's very, very New York vibes. And we saw a lot. Me and Mia went to see the inside of the Royal Palace, and it was unlike anything we've seen before. It was part of like our exchange partners' parents. They decided to take us, which was a surprise because there was a very big long line. We luckily did not have to wait in that because we had big tickets in advance. But it was really, really nice. And we also went to a restaurant that was also overlooking like a really nice area of Madrid, and we ate outside and we ordered in Spanish, and we had and with school we got to go visit El Museo del Prado, which is the Prado Museum in Spain. It had a lot of really historic architecture and really cool stuff that like Toledo showed the different periods that Spain went through under different rulers and how like religion really influenced their culture and architecture. So in addition to those longer trips, we also did a couple of shorter trips during like school hours with our host partners. So we went to 2 different main places. There was a park, like a 10-minute walk from the school called Park de Europa, and it had a bunch of different monuments that you find around Europe. So like replicas of these monuments. So there was like the Eiffel Tower and like different bridges and things like that. So it was really cool because they're obviously not the real thing, but like it's still cool to see those in like a larger scale. And then we got to visit the town where Miss Johnson studied abroad, which was Alcalá de Henares, which was also really nice because it's like Princeton but Spanish because it's around the university. But it's like the architecture and everything is just so different. And on one of our days when it was just us, so me and Mia's exchange families were very close, so we were able to do a trail together, and it was a lot of walking as well. But it was a really nice time, and it was unlike any other like trails in America because you would see like so much water, but like every time you would walk, you would just see like a new landscape, and it was honestly such a beautiful experience. And we like stopped midway to like feed the dogs, and like our exchange partners went in the water, and it was really funny. It was really cold, and when we got to the end of the trail, we ended up walking to like a church, and it was very interesting. It was unlike the other churches because it was very small, and then we walked climbed up like a hill at the very end, and we almost fell down. But when we got to the top, it was so pretty. Like we would see, like if you look at those photos, like that was at the very top, and you could just see like for miles and miles, and it was like the best countryside experience ever. Yeah. So this is when our families took us to Madrid. So Saturday we did the countryside and Sunday we did Madrid. So you can see a couple pictures of the palace on there. We have like the royal chairs on there. The throne, yes. The thrones, which apparently they don't actually sit in because they prefer standing because it's more royal and presentable. So they're not usually photographed in them, but those are their thrones. And we got to see the armory, which was like really cool to see all like the shining armor and everything. And then when we were with school, a couple of us went to the Chocolateria de San Ginés, which is very famous for their churros con chocolate, and they were so delicious. We're so happy Miss Johnson made that request. So more food. You can see the churros con chocolate, and one very, very popular food in Spain is jamón, which is pork. Like salami, but very different. It's ham. And almost a lot of the families will have a leg of jamon in like their basement or something for parties because they'll shave off a fresh piece when they have people coming over. So it was cool to just see that. And then we had a lot of family dinners with some new, really different foods. And one thing that I thought was really different was we went to their aunt's 50th birthday party, and I was expecting like a meal at like a table or something, but it was just like a lot of finger foods and stuff, which was really different. So a lot of times, like after school, like after we would go into school with our exchange partners, we would have like after school with them. So we would walk around town, and often like Mia's partner, she went to like her brother's soccer games, and I went as well. And we also like walked around the city a lot. Like we were able to like walk to the mall, like with a 45-minute walk. And one day we walked to the mall, which was 45 minutes, and then we decided they wanted to go somewhere else for dinner, so we walked an hour there, and then an hour back to the mall to walk off dinner, and then in the mall. So it was just a really great 10 p.m. experience. And then the middle picture, if you can see it, is her little brother, and one tradition that they have at birthdays is they jump for however many times, however old the person is turning. So since the aunt was turning 50, he jumped 50 times. Crazy. They definitely took us in as a part of their family, so I just added it as a little fun thing. But like a lot of tears were shed at the airport when we were leaving because they literally become your second family after a couple days. And, like, I talk to my host family almost every day. I still talk to mine as well. Like It's my birthday today, so.
Happy birthday.
Well, they remembered my birthday, and I got a WhatsApp message saying happy birthday, and it was really unexpected because even though like we only knew them for 2 weeks, they would still have the connection and remembrance to say happy birthday of something simple as that. And honestly, at the airport, a lot of tears were shed. Like, it was really nice. And yeah.
That's it.
Two more slides. This is just like friends, memories. We got to experience a lot of different classes, so we made a lot of memories. Like their PE class, they dance. So we danced with them. I know Mr. Reyes definitely participated in that. And it was just different to experience like Spanish classes and become friends with their friends. And then this is our final thing, just being a part of their family was just a great experience. So we went out for lunch a lot, and then we have both of our exchange partners. So I'm on the right with my partner,
With my partner, Alba. And we would they honestly were just like a second family to us. Like they were so inviting, so welcoming, and they at the end of the trip they said, hey, if you want to come back to Spain, we have a spare room. Just give us 20 minutes heads up. So they just like they actually we could feel the love as soon as we went to Spain and as soon as we left. And we just want to thank Ms. Johnson and Mr. Reyes for giving us this experience, because it's definitely very memorable, and it's not just like a one-time experience, it's like forever lasting.
And we can't wait for them to come in October so we can give back that same welcoming feeling and that love and really show them our life in America. So thank you to all of you, and thank you to Ms. Johnson and Mr. Reyes.
Thank you so much. Ladies, that was a great presentation, and I'd like to thank all the students for presenting and our advisors for going on the trip. That's a big leap of faith to take high school students on a trip to Europe, but at the same time, it's creating amazing relationships and experiences that will last a lifetime and can take them on to any future endeavors. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing your Spanish counterparts come in the fall.
Yes.
Anybody else have any comments?
Yeah, I'd love to. So this definitely brings it back for me because when I was at the high school, I did the Spanish trip. We didn't have an exchange program back then. I would have loved that, but we did, I think it was 8 or 9 days in Madrid. There was probably about 15 of us with 2 chaperones, and a lot of the pictures that you were showing, girls, brings it back to that time for me. We went to Toledo also. We did a lot of walking. I do remember that. But it was a great trip, and I think about it all these years later, and it was my first time out of the country, so it was definitely a great experience. And as a board, we love to have performances and presentations like these because it really makes what we're approving, makes all the things that we're seeing on our agenda a reality. So we all really appreciate you coming out and showing, your lives and your experiences. So we appreciate that.
Thank you. All right, we will move on to our next presentation, which is our final budget presentation. It is not the long presentation that I did last month because we've done that. There are actually no changes to the budget that we are presenting to you this evening. I am doing fewer slides than I did last time. So as you know, we get our income from several different sources. We have local tax levy, which is capped at 2% by state law. So those are the taxes that are school taxes that are paid by the township residents. We get money from the state, which is called state aid. And then we also have grants and entitlements, which are basically funding from the federal and state government. In everything that we do, we try to balance out fiscal responsibility and educational integrity. We have to balance out the needs of our programs, our students, our staff, and our facilities. We have lots of different things that are vying for our dollars and our attention. So some of the priorities and challenges, as we mentioned before, Increased special ed and ELL services. Healthcare costs have gone up dramatically over the last few years. And even though we are self-insured, it is still a large expense for us. Safety and security costs, obviously that's a priority in this district. Offering competitive salaries and teacher retention is very important to us. Charter school costs continue to go up, as do transportation costs, as you pay your money at the gas tank. Our gas tanks for those buses are quite large. We continue to have to make sure that we're maintaining our older buildings, keeping up with the latest of technology, and making sure that our staff are giving opportunities for the professional learning that they need to be the best teachers in front of the classroom. We also need to be sure that we're updating our curriculum materials and making sure that our curriculum meets the latest standards from the state as those continue to change. We had goals in our strategic plan that we were always working towards, and also the post-COVID academic and mental health challenges have also been something very important that we've promised our staff and our families and our community that we would continue to support through our budget. So our proposed budget has a general fund of $148,075,316, which includes general expense, capital outlay, and charter school costs. Our grants and entitlements from both federal and state sources are just over $10 million, and our debt service fund, which is like our mortgage, is $9.26 million. So that general fund is 88% of our budget. The debt service, again, that mortgage and the tax levy, is 5.5%. The preschool aid, which is a separate budget to itself, is 4.2%. Grants and entitlements are 1.8%, and that makes our total $167 million budget. So if you look at it a different way, the tax levy, our general fund broken up, is 59%. Almost 60% is our tax levy. State aid is 39.1%, and we have been very, very appreciative that the state has funded the formula more in the last couple of years, and that North Brunswick has been received all that money from the state. So we were underfunded for many, many years, and it's nice to see that they have met our funding needs this last couple of years. We're taking money from our maintenance reserves, miscellaneous revenue, and semi-money, which we get back from the state by inputting, that's money from Medicare and things for speech services and special education services. So our general fund, again, was just over $148 million, and these are the areas that are funding that. A lot of the general fund appropriations includes money for salaries and benefits. And as I said previously in my presentation, we are a staff, this is where the majority of our money goes. 70.4% is appropriated for staffing. We have a large number of staff. We approximately have 1,000 people who work for us here in North Brunswick, and this is their salaries and benefits. Operations is about 10.6%. The charter school cost overall, $9 million of our money goes to charter schools. That's about 6% of our budget. Other places, miscellaneous things, 4.1%. Special education instruction and services, excluding salaries, is 3.2%. So that does not include those salaries which are included above. Tuitions for other schools are 2.9%. Those, again, have seen a huge increase. Both special ed costs and tuition costs for out-of-district placements have nearly doubled in our projections for next year. Capital is 2.2%. University Behavioral Health, which provides a lot of mental health services and counselors and therapists in our school buildings, is now moving from an ESSER-funded cost to a local funded cost. So it's really almost $1.1 million is funding University Behavioral Health Services in this district. So that is a big expense this year coming off of ESSER being funded from that and coming into our local budget this year. So that's our total general fund appropriations. So we did get that extra money. This is how much we got, $11.2 million in additional revenues in this budget. And that is something we need to acknowledge. So $9.5 million of that was a state aid increase. $1.7 million is that 2% tax levy increase for $11.2 million. $1 million of that automatically goes to the charter school. So in district, it is $10.2 million that we are increasing our spending. So what do we do with that additional revenue? $2.5 million have gone to salaries. 1.8 has been for tuition for special education students, and ancillary services are 1.5 million. Health benefits, 1.3. There's the charter school again, 1.1, and UBHC 1.0. Continuing maintenance, $1 million, and all other, $1 million. So that money, it's a lot of money, and it would be hard for me to spend it on my own, but within a school district where we have a lot of needs in many different areas, that extra money does go very quickly. So the tax levy impact for the 25 budget with the allowable increase of 2% is a full proposed 2%. The tax levy impact is 6.6 cents per $100 of assessed property value, which is about $8.84 a month, or $106 per year for the average North Brunswick assessed home value of $160,000. And if your home value is higher, obviously, if your assessed home value is higher, the tax impact is higher. This is the total budget for approval, $167,439,183. And this is how you see it on the agenda this evening. Do we have any questions from the board members? All right, that is it, Madam President. Back to you.
Thank you, Superintendent Shiroka. We appreciate you going over this again with us. As we said, when we did this last month, this was, we know it was a lot of hard work. We appreciate you breaking it down for us, your commitment with your team to putting together a comprehensive budget for us. And we know it's a lot of work, so we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will open it up to the public to do a public session on this final budget presentation. At this time, if you'd like to come up to the podium and speak upon the final budget, we ask that you come up, state your name, sign in, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Good morning.
Oh, yes, I think so.
My name is Jennifer Herrick, and I am the NBTEA Negotiations Chair. And as you can see, the representatives and leadership of NBTEA have joined me here tonight. I came to you last month before your 24-25 budget was officially adopted. I did that although we were then, and still are now, in active and quite civil contract negotiations. We felt it was important to step beyond the bargaining table's boundaries and, without breaking confidentiality, address the full board, because the full board adopts the budget that drives the settlement. I spoke because we were alarmed when we did the math from your budget's presentation and saw the low percentage allotted for staff salary increases from the additional $11.2 million in funding. I spoke to advocate using the banked cap funds. The board knows, and the members behind me are getting a crash course in, banked cap funds. What it is and why we advocated making use of that additional money to fund your budget. I asked what the additional tax burden would be if the board utilized it. I'm not sure that we received an answer to that. We believe it would not have had a substantial impact on the taxpayers of North Brunswick. We understand that you have constituents who want no tax increases, but as members of the board, you have a responsibility to fund the programs so that the students in schools can be successful. How would a zero tax increase keep programs in place? And I'll remind the board that among this group of staff members sitting in front of you tonight, you also have constituents who work here, live here, vote here. Tonight we see that the board chose not to utilize that available money, and to say we are disappointed would be an understatement. So just as you have entrusted us with your #1 commodity in North Brunswick, the children, we are trusting you. We are trusting that you have another way to fund competitive, increase salaries for the current and future staff of North Brunswick schools. But please know this, if your solution of doing so comes in the form of budget cuts, NBTEA will not be to blame, especially since we brought this issue and a solution to your attention weeks ago. We want the parents and guardians of North Brunswick students, as well as our staff, to understand that if services are cut, the responsibility for that lies solely with this Board of Education. Thank you.
Buenas tardes. I will now translate the MBTA's statement. Acaba de hablar Jennifer Herrick y es la presidenta de negociaciones de la NBTEA, nuestro sindicato de educadores en North Brunswick. Como pueden ver, los representantes y líderes de NBTEA se han unido conmigo aquí esta noche. Vine a ustedes el mes pasado para hablar antes de que se aprobara oficialmente su presupuesto 24-25. Lo hice aunque entonces estábamos y todavía lo estamos en negociaciones contractuales activas y bastante civilizadas. Sentimos que era importante ir más allá de los límites de la mesa de negociaciones y sin romper la confidencialidad, dirigirnos a la Junta en pleno, porque la Junta en pleno adopta el presupuesto que impulsa el acuerdo. Hablé porque nos alarmamos cuando hicimos los cálculos de la presentación de su presupuesto y vimos el bajo porcentaje asignado para aumentos salariales del personal de los 11,2 millones de dólares adicionales de financiación. Hablé para abogar por el uso de los fondos de capitalización bancarizada. La Junta lo sabe y los miembros detrás de mí están recibiendo un curso intensivo sobre los fondos de capitalización bancarizada, cómo son y por qué propongamos que se utilice ese dinero adicional disponible para financiar el presupuesto. Pregunté cuál sería la carga fiscal adicional si la Junta la utilizara y todavía no he recibido respuesta a esa pregunta. Creemos que no habría tenido un impacto sustancial en los contribuyentes de North Brunswick. Entendemos que tienen electores que no quieren aumentos de impuestos, pero como miembros de la Junta tienen la responsabilidad de financiar los programas para los estudiantes y las escuelas pueden tener éxito. ¿Cómo mantendría los programas un aumento cero de impuestos? Le recordaré a la Junta que entre este grupo de miembros del personal sentados frente a ustedes esta noche, también tienen constituyentes que trabajan aquí, que vivan aquí y que votan aquí. Esta noche vemos que la Junta decidió no utilizar ese dinero disponible. Decir que estamos decepcionados es quedarse corto. Entonces, así como ustedes nos han confiado el bien número uno de North Brunswick, los niños, nosotros confiamos en ustedes. Confiamos en que tengan otra forma de financiar aumentos salariales competitivos para el personal actual y futuro de las escuelas de North Brunswick. Pero tengan en cuenta esto, si su solución para hacerlo viene en forma de recortes presupuestarios, la NBTEA no será la culpable, especialmente desde que trajimos este tema y la solución a su atención hace semanas. Queremos que los padres y tutores de los estudiantes de North Brunswick, así como el personal, comprendan que si se cortan los servicios, la responsabilidad recae únicamente en esta Junta de Educación. Gracias.
If I can, Madam President.
Absolutely.
Are there any other members of the association wishing to address the board this time? Okay. I think on behalf of the board, I'm the board attorney, I'm Jonathan Bush. On behalf of the board, I think we appreciate, certainly appreciate the membership of this organization, which is essential to the operation of the district, and I think we agree that negotiations are going on in good faith, and we're working very hard to try to resolve any outstanding issues. But I also, it's my job as the board attorney to make sure that that's very clear, especially to the leadership, that we do have ground rules for negotiations. They were signed by both parties in December. And number 10, I just want to point out, says there shall be no statements about the content of negotiations or proposals or positions to the press or the public unless such statements are mutually agreed upon. And the rest of it deals with impasse, which clearly we're not at and hope to not ever be at with you, because again, our relationship is incredibly important to both the association, but I can speak on behalf of the board, to the board. And so, I just want to make sure that that's clear, because we want to continue to move forward in a progressive way towards something that works, obviously, for both parties. And I'll turn to the president now.
Thank you. Would anyone else from the board like to? Ms. Keefe, anything?
Yes, my name is Colleen Keefe. I am the chair of the negotiations committee. My committee and I, as well as the board, we are very, very interested in working with the union. It has been a collaborative process. We are continuing to explore avenues that is beneficial, as Mr. Bush said, for both sides, and we do value everybody. And again, we are continuing to look forward to continued collaborative negotiations with all of you. As we are.
Thank you. Yes, we appreciate you all being here this evening. I agree with what Chair Keefe had just mentioned. You all mean a great deal to us. You take care of our students every day. I was a student in this district, as are some of our board members. We appreciate and know the importance of you all as employees to us. So we will do everything we can to continue our collaborative negotiations over the next couple of weeks. So thank you. All right, at this time, we'll move to item number 7. Vice President James, I'll turn it over to you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Number 6.
Thank you. I'd like to close the public portion, so could we have a motion to
So moved.
adopt that? Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? This session is closed.
Thank you. My apologies. Now we'll turn it over to Vice President James.
Okay, I am moving to authorize the adoption of the fiscal year 24-25 school district budget as submitted to and approved by the New Jersey Department of Education.
Second.
I'm going to take a roll call. Mr. Ali?
Yes.
Mr. Brockman?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Ms. Keefe?
Yes.
Mr. Liguori?
Yes.
Dr. Patel?
Yes.
Ms. Toth?
Yes.
And Mr. Wen?
Yes.
The budget is adopted.
Thank you. Mr. Liguori, could you please take item number 8?
Sure, Madam President. I move to approve the following board minutes: the regular public meeting minutes of March 27th, 2024, and the executive minutes from the same night, March 27th, 2024.
Second.
I'm sorry, that was Mr. Wen?
Yes.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The minutes are accepted.
Thank you. Are there any communications this evening?
No communications.
All
I
right.
have my administrative report.
Great, we could take it to there.
All right. Now, I can truly say this. Good evening to all of our families, guests, and viewers here tonight. Usually it's whoever's out in the Ethernet, but now we actually have a real audience, which is wonderful. We are pleased to announce that we were one of the only high schools in the area to have participants in the United Way tax preparation program. 13 MBTHS students volunteered their time to help file, add extensions, and participate in the preparation process leading up to the tax filing deadline of April 15th. This gave our students the exposure and the opportunity to learn a possible career path and give back to the community at the same time, and we are very proud of their efforts. As we head into the last 2 months of school, there are a lot of activities ahead showcasing our talented students. Spring concerts actually begin April 30th with our John Adams Spring Concert, followed by the high school spring concert on May 16th. May 21st is the high school spring band and percussion concert, and the middle school has their band concert on May 14th, followed by their chorus and orchestra concert on May 21st. Linwood School has their chorus and orchestra concert on May 23rd. Aside from our concert series, we have our district preschool art show at the MBTECC on April 25th, it's tomorrow, And our district art show will be held at MBTMS on May 9th at 5:30 p.m. Please keep a close eye out for more events via Parent Square and via our school website. This evening, I would also like to recognize Ms. Genevieve Green, a longtime Judd teacher and academic support teacher who is well-known and admired in the Judd community. She has been acting as the interim dean at Judd School since January. And following a full search, Ms. Green has been chosen to fill the spot permanently as the instructional dean of Judd School. And she is on the agenda this evening for approval. And Ms. Green is here tonight with the Judd team. If you'd like to come on up, Ms. Green. I like your shirt, by the way. It says Dean Green.
Testing. Good evening. I would like to begin by thanking Ms. Chiroka, Ms. Kita, as well as the board members for this wonderful opportunity. I'm deeply honored and humbled to accept the position of instructional dean, as this role represents a professional milestone for me. I would also like to thank Dr. Glover and Mrs. Alderman, and I am incredibly excited to roll up my sleeves and continue to work alongside both of them in fostering a culture of collaboration, creativity, and continuous improvement. Like many of you, I'm rooted in North Brunswick, so if you happen to see me around town at a basketball game or a softball game, feel free to say hi to me, Judd School's Dean Green. Thank you.
Congratulations. And that is it for my report this evening, Madam President.
Thank you, and congratulations, Dean Green. All right, we'll move over to our students. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Thank you for coming.
No problem. So SGO celebrated our final pep week of the year after spring break. Students participated in theme days, and we held our final pep rally on Friday, April 12th. We celebrated our spring athletes, and our juniors won the Spirit Cup for a clean sweep of all the pep rallies this year.
Secondly, the Alchemist Theater Company had a successful run of their production, Grease.
Mr. MBTHS was held on Friday, April 19th. Lance Caliolio won for the second year straight, being the first repeat Mr. MBTHS in school history.
Wow.
Next, the class of 2026 held a successful pocketbook bingo / gift basket auction on Saturday, April 20th.
This week, we will be electing our SGO and class officers for the next year. Elections will take place on Friday in homeroom.
Next, the Pain Words is sponsoring an annual coffee house event this Friday at 7 p.m. in the Commons.
MBTHS's South Asian Cultural Association presents an innovation show on Saturday, May 11th at 6 p.m. Experience South Asian culture with food, dances, skits, and more.
Yeah, and you can buy tickets during lunch and when you come in. Yeah, that's all it.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move to our committee reports. We'll start with business operations. Mr. Liguori.
Thank you, Madam President. And the Business Operations Committee met on Wednesday, April 17th, and among the items that we discussed, we started with an ongoing discussion from several months ago about our 3 to 5 year facility study report, where we're looking at all of our schools for accessibility and site-related issues. Mechanical site visits have been happening. We hope to have reports in a couple of weeks, and after the reports are received, we'll need to start scheduling meetings to discuss findings. I say we, but it's not us, it's the administrative team. We talked again about the ROD grants that were approved by the SDA on April 5th. The grant agreement will be worked on next with Ms. Hock and Mr. Campizano, our architect of record. There are a couple of motions on our agenda for this evening. It's important to note that at this point in the calendar year, we've got motions for fiscal 24 and we've got motions for fiscal 25, and they are denoted as such on our agenda this evening. One of the fiscal 25 motions has to do with a transportation bid, several awards to Mercy, ABC, Road to Success, and Montauk. Those are on page 17 under transportation, item number 2. And also for fiscal 25, are the Linwood MRC classrooms. So Northeastern Interiors is going to build 2 classrooms out of a small portion of the Linwood MRC. And again, that's a fiscal 25 motion because it's contingent on next year's budget. That is on page 14 under Finance, item 4A. For this year's fiscal motions, the Judd Pre-K Courtyard is on there this evening. It's broken out into its rubber surface and its drainage repair because of the different funding mechanisms for it. And that is on page 14 under Finance on item 3A, as well as the Parsons Courtyard, which is also on page 14 of Finance, item 3A. We discussed an interesting federal tax credit that is available, and I'm going to defer to cheating on my phone for this one. It is federal tax credit 179D, which is actually a tax credit for commercial entities. We as a school board can't take advantage of that necessarily because we are not a taxpayer. However, Schneider Electric, that has done our ESIP work for us, can. And we are working collaboratively with them to see if they can pass a portion of that credit on to us. So looking out for every dollar that we possibly can. And then a few ongoing status updates. We've talked for what seems like a while now about the recommissioning of the NBTHS Season 4 units. 2 of those have been completed to date. At Linwood, the roof repair, the major work is completed. We're investigating some minor leaks with our vendor. And then from a district perspective, the ongoing work on our demographic study is still in progress, which we hope to have completed in a few weeks. We talked about our fiscal 25 budget already this evening, and then the bids for the lawn maintenance will be opened on May 14th. And that would conclude business operations for this month. Thank you.
Thank you. Human Resources, Mr. Brockman.
Yes, Madam President. The Human Resource Committee met on Wednesday, April 17th to discuss various personnel and community topics. For those on tonight's agenda who are either resigning or retiring, the board thanks them for their service and wishes them well. As of last Wednesday, certified vacancies for the 2024-25 school year were posted and include positions at the elementary, middle, high school, and preschool levels, for which alternate route and traditional route teaching candidates are encouraged to apply. The district also continues to seek out candidates for several bilingual teacher positions at the elementary level. Ms. Kita shared a detailed spreadsheet with the committee on the status of the open positions for the 24-25 school year, and most are currently in the final interviewing stages. Any new or current educator interested in joining our team can view our job openings on our website and social media pages. Our administrative team has participated in 2 job fairs recently with CJ Pride and Rutgers Graduate School of Education as they continue to recruit staff. 2 more virtual job fairs will take place before the end of the school year, sponsored by New Jersey School Jobs. The final recruitment video was shared and will be pushed out this week on the district's web page, YouTube page, and social media sites. There are also several reassignments for this year and next year, and we thank our staff for taking on these new roles. Our Human Resource Department continues to actively recruit for substitutes, and several new ones are listed on the agenda, and we welcome them all to the district. We discussed any upcoming leaves of absence for the next school year and how positions may be filled via daily substitutes, long-term substitutes, or 6 teaching periods. We also discussed the process of interviewing and hiring of recently posted administrative positions, and 2 of those final candidates are listed on tonight's agenda. We welcome them to their new roles and wish them success. Ms. Kita provided an update regarding the NBTHS Hall of Fame. Due to conflict in schedule with the inductees, Ms. Kita and Mr. Neller are looking for potential dates in June for the induction luncheon. The committee also reviewed the second reading of several revised policies related to equity and the required comprehensive equity plan. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. The Education Committee, Dr. Patel? All good. We'll move to Vice President James.
In Dr. Patel's absence, I did chair this meeting on April 17th. The Education Committee met on Wednesday, April 17th. The committee revisited the High Impact Tutoring Grant update, which is being finalized. NJSLA is slated to begin in May of 2024, beginning with the high school. Administrative is preparing staff for the administration of this assessment. The committee also discussed grant funding. For ESSER, those funds are soon set to expire, as are ARP funds, and those funds are being allocated for use. The committee discussed the solar eclipse, which was a district-wide activity and obviously a national event. A website was created by a supervisor to share information with students that addressed the significance of this celestial event, shared safety information, and the district also made good use of grant funds by purchasing solar eclipse glasses, which was made available to every student to ensure their safety should they partake in the viewing. The committee discussed the NBTHS mission statement for middle states accreditation. That process is specific to the high school, which is an extensive process with the committee developed at the building level. During this process, the high school mission statement was revised, beliefs updated, and the profile of graduates was also updated. The process will conclude with the high school being judged against a comprehensive rubric. Pocket Talks were delivered to the schools. Pocket Talk is a small portable device that provides translation services in approximately 84 languages that will assist in helping to deliver service to families and students in real time. These were purchased using Title III funds. The committee discussed dual language plans for the 24-25 school year. Dual language programs remain at Parsons and LP. The committee discussed the challenges that have been presented as it relates to maintaining the integrity of the program with appropriate and consistent staffing. However, at present, the program remains. Administration will explore alternative program options such as bilingual and ESL, should that need arise. The committee discussed the wrapping up of non-tenured summative evaluations using the Marshall rubric. Also, there has been a respiratory virus update encouraging the use of core prevention strategies such as hand hygiene and additional strategies such as masking and distancing. However, should a student or staff contract such a virus, they are to stay home and away from others until the symptoms have been improved and the individual has been fever-free for 24 hours. So that is a drastic change from our previous COVID protocols. That individual should also take adequate precautions thereafter. These are more relaxed protocols and are a good sign post-COVID, and we thank our students and staff for their cooperation. Finally, the policies and regulations were presented for second reading and discussion, and that concludes the Education Committee report.
Thank you, Vice President James, for filling in. Ms. Keefe, any formal negotiations report this evening?
Other than the fact that the negotiations team met on the 15th of April with the union regarding ongoing negotiations, nothing further.
Thank you. Our liaison to the Mayor and Township Council, Mr. Carter, anything this evening?
Just the next town council meeting is on Monday.
Great, thank you. And then finally, our liaison to the Middlesex County School Boards Association and the New Jersey School Boards Association, Mr. Ali.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. So we do have next week the New Jersey School Board Association. We will be having our Middlesex County award celebration where we'll be honoring our very own Julie Mercier for her Middlesex County Teacher of the Year Award. So that's going to be amazing. All teachers, staff, our superintendent's going to be there, so everyone's welcome to come who's a part of the school, her family. So please, show support and love because this is amazing. And it's going to be at 6 o'clock. If you're coming in person, there will be dinner, so just please register. And if you're going to join hybrid, just starts at 6:45, and it's going to be in Colonia. And then additionally, there will be other awards that night for other school board members and just other school board amazing people who work in the district and who work in the state. So it's going to be just a great night of awards. So hopefully we see some of you all there. And that's all, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you. Looking forward to it. At this time, can I please have a motion to approve the administrative, student, and committee reports?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Ali, you will get that one, because I heard two from the other side. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All the reports are accepted.
Thank you. At this time, we will review our agenda for this evening. We do receive the agenda prior to. Anything change is in bold. So we will review the agenda at this time, starting on page 4 and 5. 6 and 7, 8 and 9, 10 and 11, 12 and 13, 14 and 15, Some of those policies that were reviewed were on here as well on page 15, 16, and 17. Page 18 and 19. And that will be all. So we can jump back to page 4. And I will open it up to the public at this time on agenda items only. If you'd like to approach the board, we ask that you come to the podium. This will be on agenda items only. We ask that you state your name, sign in, and you'll be given 3 minutes. Seeing none, can I please have a motion to close the public portion of the meeting?
So moved.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? This portion of the meeting is closed.
Thank you. Mr. Wen, could you please take item number 15?
Sure. I would like to make a motion to approve the following consent agenda items. Personnel 1 and 2, curriculum 1 and 2, miscellaneous, finance items 1 through 3, policy and transportation 1 and 2.
Second.
It's going to be a roll call. Mr. Ali?
Yes.
Mr. Brockman?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Ms. Keefe?
Yes.
Mr. Liguori?
Yes.
Dr. Patel?
Yes.
Ms. Toth?
Yes.
And Mr. Wen?
Yes to all consent agenda items except miscellaneous item 1A, harassment, intimidation, and bullying report for April 2024, for which I abstain.
Thank you. All the motions are accepted.
Thank you. At this time, we will jump to page 19. At this time, we will have a public session on any matter. If you'd like to approach the board on any matter at this time, we ask that you come up to the podium, state your name, sign in, and you'll be given 3 minutes. All right, seeing none, can I please have a motion to close the public portion of this meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? This public session is closed.
Thank you, and we'll move to item 17. Can I please have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We are adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you all.